The Anker C300 versus the EcoFlow River 3. Both of these have similar sized batteries and inverters, both of them come from well-established brands, and both of these are great entry-level power stations. When it comes to spending just under $200, which one of these is the best buy? So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. Before we get any further into the video, both of these are great power stations. We've recommended both of them on the channel before, and we will probably continue to do so. However, you guys are looking for reassurance when you're going to spend your hard-earned money, so here it is. As always, we have some links and any discounts we can squeeze out of either of these brands in the description down below to help you guys save as much money as possible. And if you aren't already familiar with either of these units, we have individual review videos you guys can go check out. We're gonna skip right over the teardown today and we're gonna get right into it. So both of these units have 300 watt inverters. Both of them have under 300 watt hour batteries. They both charge in just about an hour, although in our testing, the River was about 10 minutes faster. They both are dead silent when they're operating. And both of these have a very low solar input, though again, the River 3 has 10 extra watts, if that matters to anybody. And I guess you could call this River 3 a smaller unit, though I wouldn't really. It's more pancake-esque, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's smaller. But all this said, in our opinion, if you're trying to decide between the two of these, the Anker C300 is the clear winner. And here's why. The C300 has 3 regular 120 volt outlets. The River 3 has 2, one of them is a half outlet, and they're so close together that it's hard to actually get 2 things plugged into it at once. It also just has more USB options, one of which is a 140 watt bi-directional plug. So basically you could charge with 140 watts out, or you could input 140 watts into this USB-C, which is crazy.
Pretty cool.
It's actually hard to do. We have a hard time. When we were testing this, it was hard to get something that could charge us at 140 watts, but it does. This one has the bigger battery for the price. It has 288 watt hours. The River 3 has 245 watt hours, which just means this thing's gonna last a little bit longer. And this unit is just a little bit more versatile due to having more plugs and a slightly bigger battery. You could use this for your regular traveling, camping, hiking, whatever you're doing with a tiny little unit like this. But because you have access to real plugs, usable plugs, if your power went out, for example, you could theoretically run some things in your house off of this, not big things, but you could run more off this than you could run off of the River 3 because this has 3 grounded plugs. This guy also has a DC version, so if you don't need these 120 volt plugs at all, and you just want to use like the 12 volt car sockets and the USBs, you can get a unit that just does that. Both the DC and the AC version have built-in lights, which is really handy. And the DC version is actually even cheaper than this guy right here. Now, this is the bigger Anker. And if you're thinking, hey, would the bigger River 3 not compete better? The River 3 Plus or whatever it is? I would still say no, and here's why. Once you start leveling up the River 3s, you get a 600 watt inverter, but you still have less than 288 watt hours of battery. So if you actually need a 600 watt inverter, you probably want it to last more than like 25 minutes. And if you start adding the expansion batteries to it, you're significantly increasing the price, which in our opinion, for such a small little unit, doesn't make a lot of sense. The bigger River 3s also have one more plug, I guess. They have 3 grounded plugs, same as this guy, but 2 of them are on the back of the unit, which just makes the whole thing weird. If you're using it, you have plugs and cables coming out of all ends. Like it's a weird setup in our opinion, especially when you think about the fact that for $379, you can get this Pecron E1000. This is a 1,024 watt hour battery bank. It's an 1,800 watt inverter. It's got tons more plugs, ports, expandability, solar input. Like it's a way bigger unit. And as soon as you're gonna step up, I would even say as soon as you hit the $300 mark, it's like just jump to this. Just buy something like this. It's a big, powerful unit in comparison to these smaller ones. And this is gonna end up being cheaper than a River 3 with an expansion battery. But the point here is that if you're trying to be tiny, like Tiny Baby, we would recommend going with the Anker C300. In our opinion, it just makes more sense. But that's it, super quick. Hopefully that helps you guys kind of clear the air. I know this is a popular question that we get. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know anything that you think we may have missed. Otherwise, that is all we got for you guys. Like we said, there's some coupon codes for both these units in case you're brand loyal and you still want the EcoFlow in the description down below. We will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.